Hello there, my name is Andrew Druckman, and I'd like to welcome you to the channel because after all, the reason why you clicked on that link is because you want to learn how to get clients for lawn mowing. Well, guess what? You just came to the right place because that's exactly what we are going to be talking about today. Now, if you haven't done so already yet, consider subscribing to Traffic Magic because that is what we do. We talk about different tips and strategies to help you get more people to the front door of your business every single day because after all, if there is nobody at the front door of your business, you have no business because that is the bloodline to your business. And also something to keep in mind, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below that's give you more of an in-depth training on how to get more people to the front door of your business every single day. Now, without further ado, let's get into the action. So, my very first tip I'm going to share with you in order to get clients for lawn mowing is signing up for lead generation sites like Angie's List as well as Home Advisor. Now, I want you to hear me out on this real quick because some of these are some paid memberships, and there are some cases where you have to pay for leads. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how that be sometimes, but don't worry about it. It's okay. I totally understand because we are going to be talking about some free methods in order to know how to get more people to the front door of your business. So don't worry about it. We're going to talk about free stuff too, right? But the reason why that I really want to talk about lead generation sites like these two, for example, and others that are kind of similar, is because of the fact that I personally think if you're starting from the ground up, you're starting from scratch, you're starting from zero, I think it's okay that if you have the funds to do so, to actually pay for lead generation sites like these, for example, whether it being it could be a yearly thing or you might have to pay for each lead. And unfortunately, sometimes that happens when you're starting from scratch because you have to kind of really put things into perspective. If nobody knows who you are, nobody's going to just show up at the front door of your business. That's just how the real world works. That's just what it is. Now, my whole point is the reason why I'm showing you these two, for example, is because honestly, there are people out there that have actually built out their business using Angie's List as well as Home Advisor. So this is not exactly like a permanent situation where you have to keep paying for these sorts of lead generation sites. But this is also a great way to start if you have the funds to do so, where you can actually build your credibility through both of these lead generation sites as a good example. Now, what do? Hear me out. This is what you do. You take the time, should you go through these lead generation sites, you get those leads, you nurture them, and then once you nurture them and you go out and you close out on those clients, and once that happens, and now you can do something with this. Now you have something. What you can do right now is once you took in the time to close out on those clients, close out on those leads, and you service them properly, because after all, you were the one to solve their problems and fulfill their needs. And what you do is you take before and after pictures of the work of what you did, and also if you can take some video of you working, of you doing the work, that also goes a long way too. And then you take that content that you took the time to go out there and get, and you build out a website on mightysites.com. If you want to start your free trial today, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below for that. And this is what you do. You take before and after pictures of the work of what you did, and or video, assuming if you can get video of you working, and of you mowing along, you working, and you doing the things of what you're doing. You take that, you build out a website on mightysites.com. I'm going to tell you, I personally think that mightysites.com is a good place to actually build out a website because it is a beginner, easy, friendly way to actually build out a website. And they also have tutorials on how to show you how to build out a website, and it's only $9 a month. Personally, I think that's pretty affordable. And so this is what you do. You put that content that you took, that you went out there and you took pictures of that content. You build out your website on here. You put that on there. You also put your contact information so that this way when someone goes onto your site, they're going to know how to be able to get in contact with you, whether it be your phone number, your emailing address, your social media, etc. Whatever the case might very well be, so that this way they can get in contact with you. and also encourage them to leave. Well, I mean, you can't encourage them to leave positive reviews, but encourage them to leave reviews. But think about this for a second. If you took the time to solve their problems and fulfill their needs, and you did good work for them, and you encourage them to leave a review, there's almost no reason why they're not going to leave a positive review, right? So just kind of something to keep in mind. But you take those reviews and you also put them on there too, because these are the things I like to consider to be trust builders. Why? Because when they take the time to talk about the good work of what you did, they're edifying you. That goes a long way. When other people are talking about how good of a worker you are, the good work that you did, that builds credibility with you. That builds your credibility, and it's awesome when there's other people that you took the time to solve their problems and fulfill their needs. You close down those clients, you close down those leads. Those clients and those leads are also working for you, even without you really having to do anything. So I really hope that makes sense, because a lot of people like to hear about your work from other people, especially if they're positive reviews. And not only do you build out a website with all that stuff of what it is I'm talking about and any other necessary stuff that you need to put on that website, also build out a Google My Business profile. I don't really know why a lot of people like to sleep on this, because in the grand scheme of things, one of the things that I've noticed is that everybody and their mama and their mama's mama, they're on the internet and they're on social media, which we're going to talk about social media in a minute. But the thing about it is that in the grand scheme of things, you have to understand we live in a world today where we're way past people looking up the yellow pages or reading news articles or whatever have you when it comes to looking up other people's business to help solve their problems and fulfill their needs. Everybody has moved over to the internet. Everybody has moved on to social media. So I will tell you, and that's the thing when it comes to the internet, if nothing else, I will sit here and tell you it's a great idea to build out your Google My Business profile, because in the grand scheme of things, whenever someone wants to take the time to look something up, they're going to look it up on the internet. And typically the trending thing of what people will do is they're going to look it up on google.com. And if you build out your Google My Business profile in here, which is actually pretty simple and straightforward, honestly, you're going to be able to get more people to the front door of your business, because they're going to see that. And so this is what you do. You build out your Google My Business profile. You make sure you have your before and after pictures of your work. You make sure you have your website that you took the time to build out on mightysites.com. You put down there, you put your trust builders on there, right? That after you took the time to get those positive reviews, you post that on there. And you keep doing that. You keep working on there. And the more positive reviews that you get is going to increase your rankings. So that this way, when people look up, look up google.com, your business is more than likely going to pop up somewhere on the top. Not necessarily all the way on the top per se, but it gets ranked higher and higher. So I really hope that makes sense. And now, this next part is social media. Last but not least, here's the thing. This is one of the things that I've noticed more than anything else, is that also, this is another thing that a lot of people like to sleep on, is social media, right? So, and this is what you do. When you figure out which social media platform you want to take advantage of. Now, of course, it could be, you can take advantage of whether it being Facebook, Instagram, which are going to be two examples I'm going to show today, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. There's so many different platforms to take advantage of. The main thing I'm going to tell you more than anything else is make sure that you understand the platform itself and how it works, because after all, most social media platforms are pretty simple and straightforward, but they're not all necessarily the same. Some are a little bit more different than others, but that's going to be up to you to do your due diligence and to do your research to figure out which social media platform you want to use that best works for you, and also the limitations behind some of the social media platforms that you're going to use. It's really not complicated, I promise. But the thing about it is that, like I said, like this, whenever you build out your social media platform, also figure out exactly what niche that you're going to work, or excuse me, figure out exactly what your target niche is going to be. Because once you figure out exactly what your target niche is going to be, that's going to put you in a better position so that this way you can figure out exactly who your target audience is going to be, whether it being small properties, whether it being smaller properties, so maybe you might not charge as much versus like bigger properties, or if they're in luxury homes, or whatever the case might very well be. Those are definitely some things to really take under consideration. So Facebook, for example, this is one of the things I want to show, because this right here, look, you have this guy over here. He just looks like he is happy doing the work of what it is that he's doing. He's obviously this to me, I think, is a great example. Now, but this is another thing I wanted to point out. If nothing else, if you take anything from this video, one of the things I did want to talk about is modeling after other people that are successful, or at least if it looks like they're successful, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, you have to think about it. If someone's doing something that looks like that's working, or at least it is working, it just kind of makes more sense to model after other people that are successful than instead of trying to kind of reinvent the wheel. Now, I'm never going to sit here and tell you do exactly what it is that they're doing, but just something along the lines of what they're doing. And it's okay to model after other people that are successful, because it just kind of makes more sense, right? But look at this. They got their trucks, they got their logo on there. You got pictures over here of them working. I mean, this to me is simple, beautiful content that you can post on your social media platform every single day, or at least every other day. And if you want to get more people to the front door of your business, the other main thing I'm going to tell you is you have to be willing to constantly keep putting yourself out there. You have to constantly keep posting content, at least if not every other day, but really every single day. And make sure you target the local area of wherever it is, wherever you're working at, because in the grand scheme of things, if you know that local area and you live there, then you already know the in and outs of where you live at. So it just kind of makes more sense to do that. And I did want to show one more. This is another thing I wanted to show, because again, like this right here, this is simple, beautiful content. Literally anybody can do this. And honestly, the more content you put on your social media profile, and the more content that you also post and you engage with the people in your local area, the more likely you're going to get more people to the front door of your business. Oh, and last but not least, the last thing that I did want to say is that when it comes to putting yourself out there, even if you have to go in your local area, even if you have to make flyers, you have to pass them out, or you pass out your business card or whatever have you, and you're knocking door to door, even if you have to do that, the whole point is that in the grand scheme of things, you always want to constantly keep working on your business every single day, because the more that you keep working on your business, the more you're going to get better at it, and the more likely you get more people to the front door of your business. And I know you can do this, because I believe in you, and I believe anybody can do this. Now, that's going to be the end of this video for today. If you got some value out of this, feel free to give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, because I always want to know what it is that you guys say. And also, remember, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below that's going to give you more of an in-depth training of how to get more people to the front door of your business every single day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.